Welcome to my channel. Myself Mahendra Subhash Khairnar, an assistant professor in law. Today we are going to see an important topic of jurisprudence, that is sociological school of jurisprudence. In this video we are going to see about the sociological school like jurisprudence and sociology, the relation between jurisprudence and sociology, meaning and concept of sociological jurisprudence, introduction and the concept of the sociological jurisprudence, reasons for the origin and development of sociological jurisprudence, and different jurists who have contributed towards the development of sociological jurisprudence like Montesquieu, Auguste Comte, Eugene Ehrlich, Leon Dugit and Roscoe Pound. There are many other jurists, but here we are going to study only few of them for better understanding. So let's start. First we'll understand that there is a jurisprudence and sociology. There is a definite relationship between these two. Without considering the social aspect, the study of law will not be suffice. Hence, as we know that the law is created and enforced through social or governmental institutions to regulate human conduct. These social institutions means social institutions like family, society, community, etc. And therefore, sociological jurisprudence studies the different aspects related to human society. And law is one of the essential ingredient of the society. And therefore, the law and society are the two sides of the same coin. Rather, earlier, jurisprudence and law was considered as a part and parcel of sociology. In sociology, both these branches have been combined. However, it is Bentham who have separated jurisprudence or the study of law from the sociology, and this way they have developed the branch of sociological jurisprudence. We know that jurisprudence is concerned with the legal rules that actually exist. However, sociology is studying the effectiveness of those legal rules and their impacts on society. Means jurisprudence is related with the actual application of law, whereas sociology studies the effectiveness of those laws for the betterment of the society. So let's understand, for better understanding, what is sociological jurisprudence. Sociology is the study of society, patterns of social relationships, social interaction and culture that surrounds everyday life. Means a person has to face his surrounding, various social relationships and social interactions, and sociology study this aspect. Next, sociology is the study of society, human behavior and social changes. And in early times, rules and laws are originated from the only custom to govern the society which had only a social sanction. Means in primitive era, when there was no enacted law or law given by the parliament as such, the society itself has developed their own law in the form of custom, and if there is violation of this custom, there was a social sanctions. For example, sati pratha was there in India. Further, the meaning of sociological school of jurisprudence can be stated that law and society are interrelated to each other, and therefore sociological school argues that the law is a social phenomenon because it has a major impact on society. Of course, the law itself has created to regulate the human conduct while acting in a society, and therefore the society is a major role has to play in the law. Sociological school of law focuses on studying the law in practice with relation to the society. The sociological jurisprudence studies the relation of law with the society, and that law which is in actual existence, how it impacts on the society. It is the subject matter of sociological jurisprudence. Further, To describe more, what is sociological school? Sociological school is to establish a relation between law and society. As we know, there is a definite relationship between law and society. And hence, sociological school of jurisprudence focuses on balancing the welfare of state and individual. Means through the instrument of law we have to attain the welfare of an individual as well as welfare of state, so that they can be combined with each other. As we know that the law is a social phenomenon and law has some direct as well as indirect relation with the society, and this relationship is under scrutiny of sociological jurisprudence. Moving further, why we should study the sociological jurisprudence, or why this branch of law of jurisprudence has been developed. We know that there was a three kind of state: police state, laissez-faire state and welfare state. During the laissez-faire state, that is during 12th to 14th century, this period was known as the laissez-faire era, is the most important reason for the creation of sociological school of jurisprudence. In this laissez-faire state, all the policies, all the laws were concentrated upon the welfare of an individual and not of society, and therefore only the welfare of individual will ruin the social fabric, and therefore the sociological school of jurisprudence has been developed. The sociological school of jurisprudence emphasizes on individual betterment rather than state interest, general interest or welfare of the state. Means the individual betterment vis-a-vis the state interest. These should be combined together, and therefore the sociological jurisprudence tried to find a link between law and sociology or the society. Matters like well-being, welfare, training and so on was worked out by legal advisors of sociological school. These were being the subject matter of sociological jurisprudence, that how the law helps to upbring the lifestyle of a person, how it contributes, that the law contributes toward the welfare of the society, how the law provides training for the better conduct of human being in the society. There are many jurists who have contributed towards the development of sociological jurisprudence. Amongst them, Montesquieu, Roscoe, Ehrlich, Johann Duguet and Auguste Comte. We are going to study these jurists. Many other jurists have also contributed, but here we are going to focus on certain jurists. That is the first, Montesquieu. Montesquieu is the French jurist who considered that the law is a creation of the climate, local situation, accident or imposture. Means the Montesquieu who believed that the law is not the sole creation of the parliament or the law making authority, but law is the creation of climate which exists in a local situation or the local condition, and therefore according to local condition the law develops, and therefore the law is developed by the society. In his famous book The Spirit of Laws, the Montesquieu has represented his belief in the political enlightenment ideas and suggested that how the laws are required to modify according to the needs of people and society. The law cannot be static, it should change as per the needs and demand of people and society, and therefore the law and society reflects on each other. They have simultaneous relation, and therefore he has suggested that the law should answer the needs of the place, that is a particular place. The law should be according to particular place, and the law should change according to time, place and needs of the people. The law cannot be static but a dynamic one. It shall consider, it shall mold itself according to the time, place and needs of the people, and therefore the jurisprudence is very much necessary, interpretation is necessary. It is a Montesquieu who considered that the legal process is somehow influenced by social condition of society. Means the legal process, the process by which the law develops, is highly influenced by the social condition of the society. If the society is matured, then definitely the matured law and mature law observer, law follower will create a matured law. and if not, then vice versa. But social condition is very much important while considering the law, as well as history is also necessary for understanding the structure of the society, with what society the law has to corroborate, that has to be seen, how the society has been developed, how they have developed in a civilization, and therefore this is very much essential. Further, Montesquieu has explained the importance of studying the history of society before formulating the law for that society. Means we shall understand the society first, then we can formulate law for the society. For example, while making a counseling to the person, we should understand the history of the person so that we can understand his upbringing. Likewise, while framing the laws for a particular society, we should know the society first, then we can decide the law. Then the next jurist, Auguste Comte, he is also a French jurist. He is the one who has coined the term sociology at first time, and he describes sociology as a positive science of social facts. Positive science means a science wherein the actual help of a man has to be taken, how he has contributed toward the development of the society, and how he reacts to the social relationships. According to Auguste Comte, society is like an organism, that is a living organism, and it could progress when it is guided by scientific principles. Means the society is a living document, or we can say the living system, and while formulating the laws we should understand how it corresponds or responds to the law. Further, he said that the law as a tool by which human society can maintain itself and progresses. Means with the help of law, human society can develop and can maintain their structure, their discipline in the society. Means without law, the society cannot survive. According to Comte, the history of society develops through three stages. There are three stages in which the law develops, and therefore he considered that the development of society is like a development of human mind. Means society develops, it means that the persons who lives in that society, they change their human mind, they change their thoughts, emotions, and the way they express their thoughts, and therefore development of society means the development of human mind, their process of thinking something. And therefore, according to this thinking process, Comte says that there are three stages of development of law. Further, he added that social evolution, proposing that society undergoes three phases in its quest for the truth according to a general law of three stages. Means the Auguste Comte has said that the law, why the law develops, why the society develops, for the quest of the truth, for finding the truth, the law develops in three stages. They are theological state, metaphysical stage, and the positive stage. Theological state means the early area wherein the natural law was developed. According to natural law, the law is made by the God or set up by the ancestors, customs, and religion. And that law then develops in a metaphysical stage wherein human reasoning, which try to justify the natural law, and then that law again further develop in the third stage, which is known as scientific stage, which studies the relation between theory, practice, and human understanding of the world. Means in these three phases the person develop his thinking process, and like society also develops their law. While seeing the Auguste Comte, we can say that he is the first person who is considered as the first philosopher of a science in the modern sense, because he has constructed the science in a modern sense. According to Comte, observing the dependence of theory and observation in science, the state can be developed. He has distinguished between natural philosophy from science explicitly, and philosophy of science, according to Comte, is a subfield of the philosophy. Philosophy of science is the subfield of philosophy, means philosophy is the upper level and philosophy of science is at the subordinate level, to which he considered as the foundations or methods and implication of science. His work has a major impact on thinkers like Karl Marx, John Stuart Mill, Herbert Spencer, and Eliot. Therefore, the Auguste Comte has a major contribution in sociological jurisprudence. Next one is Ehrlich or Eugen Ehrlich. He is also a French jurist. He is known as a founder of sociology of law. Sociological jurisprudence is nothing but the sociology of law, to look at the law from sociological perspective, and therefore he is considered as a prime person who has contributed toward the sociological jurisprudence. According to Ehrlich, society is a main source of the law, and by society he means association of men. Further, in his work, he has written that the center of gravity of all legal developments is not in legislation or judicial decisions, but in society itself. Means the society develops the law for itself, and therefore center of gravity shall be the society and not the parliament or judicial authority. Further, he argued that the society is the main source of law and better source of law than legislation or judicial decisions. Means for understanding the law, we should look at the society, then and only we can understand the law, and not the parliament or judiciary who has contributed towards the development of law. According to him, law is a living law when it comes from the people. According to Ehrlich, law does not mean only statutes and court decisions, but legal reality of community. The law will be law when it is given by the community as such, and therefore he distinguished between norms for decision and social norms or norms of conduct. Norms for decision means a statutes or precedents, whereas social norms means rules of conduct or the ethics or the customs which the society has developed themselves. Further, he said that the social norms means actually the actual law which governs the life of society, and that is known as a living law according to Ehrlich, because social norms has more binding authority than the statutory law, and therefore social norms are considered as a living law by the Ehrlich. According to him, living law is the framework structuring social relationships for peace and cooperation. Why living law is necessary? The living law is necessary for peace and cooperation, and therefore he considered law or the facts of law are socially fundamental. To live the person as a social life, it is necessary that the social laws must be real laws, then and only it could be considered as a living law. Next jurist is Leon Duguid, who is a French jurist and leading scholar of droit public, that is a public law, and sociology or a law is a part of public law. He has developed the theory of social solidarity. Social solidarity means the social cooperation between individuals for their need and existence. Social solidarity means the interdepending nature of a person. A person is not a full-fledged on his own, but he has to depend on another for his daily needs and existence. This is we known in India as a bara balutedari. Social solidarity is the feeling of oneness, that we are union and we are one. According to him, the term social solidarity represents the strength, cohesiveness, collective consciousness and viability of the society. And according to him, the interdependence of man on his other fellow men is the essential character of human being. He cannot be considered as independent, but he is always interdependent, and this interdependence is known as social solidarity. Next, Dugit has said that no one can survive without depending on other men, that is interdependence, and therefore the objective of the law is to promote social solidarity between individuals. In Indian constitution, this is known as fraternity. According to Dugit, the law is bad which does not promote the social solidarity. Every man had the right and duty to promote social solidarity. Means the person has to live with the society and he has to cooperate with the society. Society means the other fellow beings who survive with another, and therefore every living being, every law should promote the social solidarity. Next jurist is a Roscoe Pound. He is a well-known American legal scholar. According to him, the law should be studied in its actual working process, and therefore he has developed a theory of social engineering, which is very well celebrated theory. The Roscoe Pound has compared lawyers and engineers. He considered lawyers as a social engineers. According to him, engineers are required to use their skill for manufacturing new products. Similarly, lawyers are social engineers who are required to build that type of structure in the society which may provide maximum happiness and minimum friction. Friction means there is a continuous contrast or conflicts between individuals or the two societies that has to be reduced by way of law. He has developed a theory of social engineering. Now, what is social engineering? According to Roscoe Pound, law is a social engineering, which means a balance between the competing and conflicting interest in society. And for that, for balancing that interest, the law has to be used as an applied science for resolving individual and social problems. Means the law should be used as a lubricant to reduce the friction, and therefore law is considered as a social engineering. Further, he mentioned that everybody has its own individual interest and considered it supreme over all other interests. Means the person tries to suppress the others, but this generates the friction, and therefore the objective of law is to create a balance between the different interests of the people. According to Roscoe Pound, there are different interests which are there in the society: individual interest, public interest, and social interest. Individual interest can be seen from the standpoint of an individual for his own right to life and personal liberty, whereas public interest is the right from the standpoint of political life, like a responsibility or rights towards each other, whereas the social interest is at the upper level, which is a right in form of preservation of general peace, health, social institutions like religion, etc. There is always a friction between these three interests: individual interest, public interest, and social interest. And through the law, these interests shall be suppressed. Further, he stated that there are jural postulates which shall be protected and nourished to preserve the society. These jural postulates are criminal, law of patent, contract, torts, and strict liability. These jural postulates shall be protected for the betterment of society as such. I hope you have liked the video. Please like, subscribe, and share it, and kindly watch my channel for more videos on the law topics. Thank you very much.